Hey guys, MCU Collector here with another video. This time we have another top 10 for 2020, the year of the Rona, I guess we would call it. But just a horrible year, but a pretty good year for action figures and Marvel Legends especially. I think for the most part, due to the pandemic, we only missed out on one wave and one deluxe figure, which would have been for the Eternals. We have seen leaked images from an eBay listing that had the full wave and an OfferUp listing that actually showed the Crow figure. Crow figure, I think, looked great. The rest of the wave, not so much. Now, I'm an MCU guy, I'm a movie figure guy, it's what I love, but even I can admit that that wave just doesn't really look good. And the worst part about it is not having seen the movie, so without the context of the movie, you can't truly appreciate the designs of the figures, in my opinion. At initial glance, without knowing about the movie or seeing anything from the movie or how awesome some of those characters might be, if I wasn't a completist, if I wasn't an MCU guy, it would be an easy pass, but we shall see. So here I have movie figures and Game Reverse because I just had to kind of fill out the top 10 because there wasn't a whole lot of movie figures that released this year. But anyway, I do have movie figures. There's a couple of Game Reverse figures in here, but I just kind of wanted to round out and include as many figures as I possibly can. But this is my top 10 for 2020, the movie figures and a little bit of Game Reverse. So let's get into the honorable mentions first, and then we will count down from 10 to 1 on my personal opinion list. These are just the figures that I liked in order in the top 10 for 2020. It will be different from what you liked in 2020, different from what another person will like from 2020. This is an individual list, so you may not agree. That's okay. You may not like my picks. That's okay. But you can discuss in the comments below. Go ahead and hit that thumbs up button now too. Let's kind of get that out of the way. But let's get into the first honorable mentions, and then we'll do our countdown to the number one, my favorite movie figure of 2020. Okay, so my honorable mentions, turns out the only two Game Reverse figures that I first initially included are actually going to be my honorable mentions. It didn't necessarily start out that way, but that's the kind of the way it ended up going. So I probably didn't even need to include them, but here we are. Now, this is going to be pretty controversial on one of these two. The Atmosphere Armor Iron Man was probably a favorite amongst all Marvel Legends collectors. It's obviously a joke. But I actually do really like this figure. I think the blue, the metallic blue, the gunmetal gray on there really pops and stands out. The Tony Stark head is pretty good. Yes, it's a repaint of another of a Target exclusive. Which one was it? It was the white one, but what was it called? Was it the stealth one? I don't even remember now at this point. It came out so long ago and I didn't play the game. But this Iron Man figure, the blue and the gray, just really looks good, really stands out. So that's why he is an honorable mention, mainly because I also wanted to include Game Reverse, even though they technically ended up not making it. But the Venom Pool. Now, Venom Pool is an amazing figure. Amazing figure. If I were to rank the Build-A-Figures, he would be my number one. He would. The reason why I am not including him in this list is because I'm just weird like that and don't include Build-A-Figures in the lists, because Build-A-Figures are all, for the most part, better figures already anyway, except for Stiltman, which I still really don't care for all that much. So he would not be my favorite Build-A-Figure. So Venompool, it just kind of, in my mind, it just disqualifies because he is a Build-A-Figure. Otherwise, if I were to include him in the list, in a ranking, he would be my number one. He would be the top Build-A-Figure for 2020. He would be the number one in this particular list. But because he is a Build-A-Figure, I just feel that it's not fair, because that figure, it can obviously become larger, and then with a larger figure we tend to get more details, whether it's going to be in sculpt or in paint, and then this figure just all around came out fantastic. So kudos Hasbro for doing a great job on this Build-A-Figure. Just unfortunately, for my own stupid rules, my own OCD thinking, I just cannot include it in here, but he definitely is an honorable mention. If I were to ignore my rule, which I just can't do, he would be the number one, so you guys know. But let's get in onto number 10 in the top 10 of 2020 movie figures. Okay, so while the Into the Spider-Verse wave, the Stiltman Build-A-Figure wave, may technically be a 2021 wave, I did receive the wave in 2020, so it counts towards my 2020 list. So my rule for that is it falls into whatever calendar year that I get the figure. So for this particular wave, the Stiltman wave, I got it in 2020. In my eyes, it is a 2020 wave. So Prowler comes in at number 10. Good figure, good representation from the movie. I love the movie figures, but this one just isn't quite as good as the other ones, but the other ones are just that damn good that this guy couldn't quite beat out on those other ones. So number 10 is the Prowler. On to number 9. Okay, number 9 goes to, and it's shared between Spider-Ham and Gwen Stacy. This one is pretty far down on the list. The head sculpt is absolutely amazing and could be one of the absolute best movie head sculpts that came out in 2020. And there's some tough competition, but that head sculpt just isn't quite enough over the figure. Yes, we get some new parts on the figure, which is awesome, but we had Gwen Stacy. We had one from the movie, even though it wasn't 100% accurate. We still got one, so this is a second attempt at it, and it's an improvement, yes, but just doesn't push it that far enough into the top 10 list. But number 9, being in the top 10 anyway, I think is a pretty good standing. So Gwen Stacy, Spider-Ham, number 9. On to number 8. Here we have another shared one for the number 8 spot, and it goes to the X-Men 20th anniversary line. This is Magneto. We have both the Michael Fassbender and the Ian McKellen versions of them. The tricky thing is the body is absolutely the younger Magneto, but Michael Fassbender. But the head sculpt for Ian McKellen, I think it was just too fantastic to not include in this top 10. So number 8 goes to both versions of Magneto because they're the same figure, just different heads. But the Ian McKellen head is just it's perfect. I can't. It's just that damn good. Look how good that head sculpt came out. So I am really happy with it. So number 8 is Magneto. On to number 7. Okay, the number 7 spot goes to the Miles Morales figure from the Stiltman Build-A-Figure wave. The figure is awesome. He's a tiny figure and he's fairly delicate, so you want to be careful with it. The head sculpt is good, not great, but good. But when we're talking movie figures, he really stands out as one of the best from 2020. So number 7, and deservedly so in my opinion, Miles Morales. On to number 6. Okay, number 6, of course, Peter B. Parker from the Stiltman Build-A-Figure wave, the Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse figures. This figure has really grown on me, whereas initially it was I always thought it was good, but I didn't think was all that great and didn't really see the appeal that so many did. But looking at it more and more, messing with it more and more, it's awesome. I think the likeness to Peter Parker is great. Makeshift sculpted. I think 100% of this figure, everything is new. It's all pinless. The boot and the shoe. It's crazy figure all around. It is awesome. But the problem with this figure is it leaves me wanting a full suited Peter B. Parker from the Into the Spider-Verse movie, because like this basic figure, this ain't gonna do it, right? Nah, I want actual Legends figure of this suit with that weird body shape. I want more of a belly on it too, because this guy ain't got a belly. So let's say this is the Chris Pine Spider-Man, but I want and I can't think of the actor's name now. Damn, I can't think of his name. He was in New Girl. I can't think of his name. You guys let me know in the comments below, but I want that version in the Spider-Man red and blue suit. Hopefully one day we will get him, but Peter B. Parker in at number 6. Let's move on to number 5. Okay, number 5, we have Professor X, or just Charles Xavier in this particular box set. This is the PulseCon exclusive 2-pack with Logan from the Logan movie, and specifically this Charles Xavier over the previous Charles Xavier from the X-Men 20th anniversary line. That was a very good figure. The Patrick Stewart head sculpt was really good on that. The James McAvoy one, I think, was good also. Good, not great. This head sculpt is absolutely fantastic and could be the best one of all the movie figures, but the head sculpt alone does not make it the better figure. It's on a pretty crappy body mold, that old suited body mold. The legs are pretty terrible. They're pretty limited. I hate the way the ankles and the feet are. It's extremely hard to stand, mainly because of the shoes, I guess, because, you know, I think like the Peter Parker retro figure has different shoes, but I think has the same pants. So maybe that's more of the issue. But this head sculpt is so unbelievably good. It is absolutely Patrick Stewart, an older version of Patrick Stewart, and just came out looking fantastic. You even get the liver spots. I love the shape of his head. You get that little bit of hair that they put back there. Just fantastic. Look at that head sculpt. So good. So good, Hasbro. So good. Wow. That is fantastic. So that is the number 5 in my top 10 for 2020. Let's move on to number 4. Okay, Stan the Man Lee comes in at the number 4 spot for the top 10 movie figures of 2020. He was probably actually the first movie figure that I did pick up in 2020, I believe. So he is just this figure. In all honesty, the figure just actually isn't all that great, right? It's not. It's just not. That body mold is terrible and extremely limited. He has a hard time standing up, but it's Stan Lee. Enough said. This figure took a trip out to New York with me at Toy Fair, and he got to check out Toy Fair, everything. I brought him around New York City. I got some pictures with him. I had a lot of fun with this figure, so more so than anything, it just holds a special place for me. Because it's Stan Lee, and then, you know, it brings back the memories of when I was at Toy Fair in New York 2020, mid-February. The pandemic wasn't officially a pandemic yet. COVID, I don't even know if it was called COVID at the time, but coronavirus was there, and it was starting to circulate and kind of go around. So New York City, Times Square was absolutely insane. So many people, and then 2 short weeks later, it was completely empty. So just crazy times for 2020, but Stan Lee, number 4, top 10 Marvel Legends movie figures of 2020. Okay, so I'm gonna have to kind of make a little bit of a change to this top 10, and this is gonna be funny because stupid me completely forgot about the Black Widow figures, because I keep my movie figures in a different detolf, my MCU figures in a different detolf. So all these other movie figures were not MCU, so they were actually in my other detolfs that are actually in my room, and not my detolfs that are out in my living room. So I forgot about them. So I'm gonna kind of change it up a little bit. Stan Lee is no longer gonna take the official number 4 spot, because he will just be Stan Lee. He just is amazing altogether, and holds a special place for this entire list to begin with. But officially, I'm gonna go ahead and make this deluxe version of Black Widow and Taskmaster equally number 4, which is kind of crap, as I'm just making this up on the fly, and I'm not gonna redo everything here. So just kind of go with it, right? It's a cop-out. Yeah, but it is what it is. So here we are, the Taskmaster figure. We don't know anything about Taskmaster because the damn movie hasn't come out yet, and there's talks of another damn delay. Just release it on Disney Plus already, Marvel and Disney. Come on. So I can't wait to see what the movie is all about. This particular version of Black Widow, we did get the black and gray actually in the Crimson Dynamo Build-A-Figure wave, but this Black Widow, the deluxe release, she came with that Hasbro stand, all kinds of accessories. And I really like the way the white suit looks. Taskmaster is a good looking figure. He has some limitations, but I do like the way it looks. So that's why I'm just gonna kind of share them collectively into the number 4 spot and just kind of make it up as I go. So yeah, it is what it is. So Black Widow, hopefully we get to see soon. Who knows what is going on, but WandaVision is out now, so at least we have something MCU, even though it is nothing like the MCU yet. We know that it is building towards something. What that is, we do not yet know, but I can't wait to watch it. So let's get on to the official list, the actual list, the top 3. Let's go to number 3. Okay, the number 3 goes to the Amazon exclusive X-Men. This is, well, I guess it's up for debate on what movie this version of Wolverine is from. So some people are saying X-Men 2 or X-Men Origins or even the Wolverine. And I'm going to be honest with you, I think it could work for whatever damn movie you kind of want to fit it into. Origins, the hair really doesn't match up. I don't think the hair matches up with X2 either. So I'm thinking this one actually be maybe more of the Wolverine. Regardless, it's a Hugh Jackman Wolverine movie figure that we have, and it's awesome. The leather jacket version is really good. One of those head sculpts is absolutely fantastic and is completely Hugh Jackman. The other one is Hugh Jackman on crack, and just does not look as good, but still a solid figure all the way around. You know, when you think of him from the movies, it's that leather jacket. It's probably going to come to your mind first. A close second would be the tank top wife beater version, sure. But this one I think is the better figure all around, because I think this particular head sculpt is better. The Screaming one is a little bit better than the other leather jacketed one, and I really like the bone claws on this version. So the number 3 top 10 Marvel movie figure, Marvel Legends of 2020, the Wolverine, Hugh Jackman, the Wolverine. Next we go on to the top 2. It will be interesting what you guys might think it is. I'm still kind of debating which one I want to go with, because the one that I'm leaning towards I don't think will be, well, I think you can't go wrong either way. So let's see, on to number 2. Number 2 goes to Venom from the Venom movie. So Eddie Brock, really good figure. I know a lot of folks want to see a comic Venom on this body mold. I might be in the minority and would rather not see that. I think this is a solid figure that's really meant for the movie version. A comic-based figure can look good on this. Pounds did a fantastic custom. His paintwork is top notch. Like, I don't know how he gets straight lines. Like, it's ridiculous. He even did a tutorial video. It's like, it's easy. Do a trapezoid here, do a triangle here, all this and that. That's awesome. There's no way in hell I could do that. He makes it look so effortless and easy. It's ridiculous. So yes, a comic Venom can work on this. I like it for a movie version. That's just my own my own thing. But very solid figure. Would be my number 1, except for the fact that it's a figure that I just never thought that we were actually going to get. Now, I didn't think we were going to get this Venom figure. I didn't think we were going to get the X-Men movie figures. But of all of them, this one I really just did not think that Hasbro would ever do, because Hasbro is a family company. So that might be a hint. So on to the number 1 top 10 Marvel Legends movie figures of 2020. Number 1 is the Deadpool figure, Wade Wilson. Of course, it is Deadpool. The Venom is still a very good figure, and I expect that it's probably at the top spot for a lot of folks' list. For me, it's just the Deadpool, because the character is going to outweigh it for me. I think you can argue which one is the better functioning figure all the way around. But for me, it's going to be the Deadpool figure. And the sculpt of it, the little details that they put into the mold, you know, the little sewn parts for the bullet holes and stuff on the suit, just fantastic. This figure is so good that they're in fact releasing it again, a repainted version with the dust version of Deadpool 2, which is kind of like, well, what the hell, we didn't need it, and he's still kind of red, and it's a fake X-Force look, or whatever the case may be. Movie figures, bring them on. I'll take it. That Amazon exclusive Deadpool, pre-ordered right away. So I'm excited for it. You know, anytime we can get more movie figures, you know me, I am all for it. And this figure is just that damn good. I am excited to get any other versions of it. I guess there's not a whole lot of other versions you could do, right? So we have this one. Now, this one is technically a Deadpool 2 figure because Deadpool 2 got a PG-13 release, so that is why he was able to get a full release when Hasbro has repeatedly said that they will not produce figures for an R-rated property. So with the PG-13 release of Deadpool 2, they were able to do this, even though he does include hands to give him that Deadpool 1 look, because he had silver on the back of the gloves for Deadpool 2. Deadpool 1, they were all black gloves, so you can kind of fudge it that way. The other thing is, from that is they made Logan figures, which was a rated R movie, so then that kind of went out there, but those ones were not sold in stores, will not be sold in stores, won't ever be in stores. It was PulseCon exclusive or San Diego Comic-Con exclusive, as it should have been or was supposed to be, so then it's a little bit different. But in terms of retail, these figures going out to the shelves, store shelves, I think is where that rule comes in, where they can't do rated R film properties. So Deadpool 2 going out and getting a full wide release into Target stores. None of my Walmarts really got a whole lot of the 2-packs or anything. Might be a different story for you guys. My Walmarts in town are pretty terrible when it comes to action figure selection. But all the online comic shops, Best Buy, all of those were able to get this Deadpool figure, and I think it's only because that PG-13 release. But what a fantastic figure for the first movie was fantastic. Deadpool 2, I didn't enjoy all that much. It has its funny moments, and I've watched it, more than once. But the first movie was definitely a lot better than the second. But my top movie figure for 2020 is Deadpool. You guys let me know down in the comments below how you would rate movie figures. You can include the Gamerverse, even though I kind of copped out and said I would, but then they ended up being my honorable mentions. Venom, again, such a fantastic figure. It just kind of pains me to not include it when it is such a good figure, but I gotta kind of stick to some rules a little bit. So two fantastic Deadpool related characters here for 2020. Let me know in the comments below your list. And again, this is my opinion, my favorites. Your personal, your list would be different from mine, and that's okay. So we can all disagree. But for me, Deadpool is my number one. If you guys like this video, please do me a favor and hit that thumbs up button. Subscribe if you haven't already done so. And as always, guys, thank you for watching.